Clarity begins when illusion can no longer survive the truth.
Let's talk about this. Let us talk about this. One of the most destabilizing moments in healing is realizing that what you are holding on to, what you are fighting for, what you are trying to preserve was never real. And I want to be very clear about something right from the beginning. When I say never real, I am not saying your feelings were fake. I am not saying you imagined the pain. I am not saying you were foolish for believing. Your emotions were real. Your attachment was real. Your effort was real. What wasn't real was the structure holding it all together. Most people are never taught the difference between emotional intensity and relational reality. Intensity feels convincing. Intensity feels urgent. Intensity feels meaningful. But intensity alone does not equal truth. It does not equal safety. And it does not equal permanence. This is where many people get stuck. They say to themselves, but it felt so real. And I'm going to tell you, that's the trap. Because feelings can be real inside of an illusion. Think about a stage play. From the audience, the walls look solid. The windows look real. The doors open and close. But backstage, it's wood, paint, and lighting. No foundation, no plumbing, no wiring. If you lean on the wrong wall, you fall through it. The illusion isn't a lie because it looks real. It's an illusion because it can't support weight. And many of you tried to build a life inside of something that could never hold you. You didn't fail because you believed. You struggled because you were operating without a stable container. Emotion without structure creates nothing more than illusion. Connection without boundaries creates exhaustion. Purpose without grounding creates burnout. This isn't just about relationships. This applies to everything we build. Movements, communities, healing spaces. Anything fueled by passion alone will eventually collapse under pressure. Here's the truth most people don't want to face. Illusions don't break because you didn't try hard enough. They break because they were never designed to last. And the moment you see that clearly, you stop blaming yourself and start asking better questions. If you remember nothing else from this, remember this. Intensity can feel real without being stable. Reality requires structure.
Intensity can feel real, even when nothing underneath can hold.
See, once you understand that something was never real, something else happens. You stop chasing closure and you start seeking alignment. This is where healing matures. Early healing asks, how did this happen? Later healing asks, what am I responsible for now that I see clearly? Clarity creates responsibility, not blame, not guilt. It creates responsibility. Here is an analogy most people would actually understand. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if you're running a business without contracts, without records, without accountability, eventually someone gets hurt. Not because you were malicious, but because you were informal. Healing works the same way. The moment people start trusting you with their stories, with their vulnerability, with their recovery, you don't get to operate on emotion alone. Care without structure becomes risky. This is where many well-meaning spaces fail. They rely on passion instead of process, charisma instead of clarity, intention instead of protection. And you know what? It feels powerful until it doesn't. Because when emotions rise and conflicts appear and expectations collide, structure is what keeps people safe. See, I had to sit with this myself. There was a time when I believed that heart was enough, that if the mission was pure, everything else would work itself out. That belief cost me clarity. And clarity is too expensive to lose twice. When healing grows beyond the individual, it must be protected at the collective level. That's not control. That's stewardship. And let me just anchor you a little bit further. Good intentions start movements. Structure sustains them. Let me say that again. Good intentions create movements, but structure maintains them.
Once you see clearly, responsibility replaces reaction.
This brings us to the final understanding. What's real can stand on structure. Illusions cannot. This is why boundaries matter. This is why clarity matters. This is why accountability matters. Not to limit growth, but to protect it. When we choose to formalize what we're building, we're making a statement. We're saying, this is not temporary. This is not personality driven. This is not disappearing when emotions shift. What we're saying is, this work is meant to last. Healing becomes real when it's no longer dependent on one person's energy, when it can exist without safeguards, with transparency, with responsibility. This is how we prevent harm. This is how we avoid repeating the very dynamics we're trying to heal from. Survivors don't need more intensity. They need safety, consistency, trust. Those things don't happen by accident. They are built. If you remember nothing else from this entire message, please remember this. Healing becomes real when structure replaces illusion. This is how we honor the people who trusted us. This is how we make sure the work doesn't vanish. This is how we move forward, clear, grounded, and real. With that being said, stay powerful, keep healing, and the reason why we do everything that we do, love you guys.
Healing becomes real when structure replaces illusion.